You're tuning in here on the Business Portal for this segment on Trends and Analysis. Our topic for this episode is 50 years in the printing industry, and with us and our guests are the officers of the Printing Industry Association of the Philippines. None other than its president, Mr. Ronnie Sy. With him is the secretariat, Mr. Ric Tansipek, and with them is their guest exhibitor from the Norde or HP, the marketing manager, Mr. Rico Delos Santos. Do stay tuned for more information. We're back here again on the Business Portal for this segment on Trends Analysis. This is your host, Toti Casino. Our topic for this episode is 50 years in the printing industry. One sector that has contributed 5% on the gross domestic product of the country, and also contributes about 12% in terms of employment, whether direct or indirect. And with us are representatives from the Printing Industry Association of the Philippines that's celebrating their 50th anniversary. Their president, Mr. Ronnie Sy. With him is the secretary of the same organization, Mr. Ric Tansipek, and their guest exhibitor from Norde, none other than the marketing manager, Mr. Rico Delos Santos. So, Ronnie, I'd like to know more about your organization. Like, what is the composition of your members? Who are they? What type of industries are they from? And how many are you?
Presently, we have around 600 members.
600 companies of members. Okay,
members.
That's pretty big. How many printing companies are there in the country, if I may?
Around 6,000.
6,000, and you're about 10%, 600 already in your own organization. Okay.
So in our organization, we are composed of the regular members, which is consists of the printers itself. Then we have the associate members, who are vendors who sell machines to the printers, and we have also the provincial members.
Okay. How strong are these members? I mean, do you have the publishing companies commonly that what we see on a day-to-day are newspapers. Are they also a member of your association?
Yes, the publishing is also a member of the organization.
And then how many of those members are also into the digital printing? That's what Mr. Delos Santos was saying earlier. Is that small or is that big in terms of?
Right now, it's going. Some of the printer are going to the digital printing.
In your company, Ronnie, what do you use? Are you using traditional or are you using digital?
In our company, we are using the traditional printer. So we are more concentrated on commercial packaging boxes.
Okay. So even packaging printers are also into your membership. Okay.
Yes.
Has there changed also in packaging, Rick?
Oh yes.
In terms of the technology?
Yes. The digital printing includes packaging. It includes publishing. It will include like photo books, social printing.
Okay.
All of them. I think you can print anything on digital printing as you can do it in the offset printing.
Right.
It is only in terms of speed, the volume, that makes the difference mostly.
Yeah. I remember before, sometime in the 1970s or the 1980s, the quality of our printing was not at par with global standards, the glossy part. But now we see quite a deluge, rather, of these new magazines that, in my earlier years, in my younger years, I never get to see that except that they're foreign. What has happened with that? How can we have that now? Is that printed still overseas or that's being done locally in the country?
Many of the beautifully printed magazines are being done here already.
Okay.
And let you look at it in the bookstores, the magazine stands. Like you said, there is a wide array of beautifully printed magazines.
Right, right.
And some of them are printed digitally. Some of them are printed offset. For a layman, you can hardly distinguish
Okay.
whether it is printed digitally or printed offset.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, in our country, we are lucky because all of the advanced technology has been introduced here to our country. And many of these equipments has also been acquired by our local printing companies. So if you should say about quality, we are at par with most of the international printers.
Yes. You're agreeing with that, Rico?
Yes. In fact, let me go back to the point of changes. The changes that are occurring are quite positive, though. The changes that are occurring that is somehow changing the print industry are the following. One is that by 2050, the Philippines will be, according to Goldman and Sachs, that the Philippines will be the 14th largest economy in the world. Okay. And right now, we're going to be like at some point in 2050, we're going to be the 5th largest economy in Southeast Asia. That means in 2013, the GDP is what, 7.8.
Right now,
Right
it
now.
might hit a double digit by
Yes.
that time.
Now, these things, that means that the Philippines is becoming from a very constrained regional community, it has been becoming cosmopolitan.
Okay.
We're going to turn to become like a hub.
Yeah.
That means that the printers will not only serve what they serve right now, meaning the local businesses.
Right.
The opportunity for printers is also to see the global market,
Okay.
see the demand in the global market. So that means Filipino printers should not compute their expenses or ROI based on peso. There should be a mindset of computing everything now in dollars.
Right, right.
So these are changes that are happening
Okay.
right now. Another change is the presence of the mobile phones. This digital change is a phenomena because some would have been predicting that by 2014, the number of mobile phones will somehow overtake the number of the population.
But what's that got to do with the printing? When we say
Because
mobile
these are
phone?
all digital.
All
These
right.
are all forms of communication, and these are
information.
all information content is
Okay.
driving.
Yeah.
Of course, another thing that is driving is the emergence of new industries. Like
Okay.
Apple is not known like in 1984 as a struggling, trailing behind industry. Right
Yeah.
now, it has become one of the very strong players in digital content. You have Vistaprint, which is a printing company that is basically producing digital printing. You have Shutterfly, which is coming out with photo books, and you have Amazon.com, which before was having problem on how to work out the publishing workflow because they need a constant workflow. Now has engaged in digital. Amazon is more alive than ever. This emergence also is another part. Of course, the emergence of social media.
Okay. We'll hold on to that. I'd like to go on one thing about how does the country fare off at what from that. That's a particular concern here, Rick. Does the Philippines stand to be competitive with our neighbors in the region? Let's say with Singapore and Hong Kong. I mean, I'm sure they have printers there as well, or even China for that matter. And how do we fare off? That's what Rico said, that we're going to be the 5th biggest economy in Southeast Asia and the 15th in the world.
I think I agree with Rico because as of lately, we have been labeled by top financial evaluation company to be a very progressive economy. And with that, with the present technological capability of the Filipino printers, we can compete very well with global counterparts.
But at the same time, you're lacking manpower. So
Yeah,
how are
but-
you able to address that? Here's opportunity, and yet you said, is there any motion? Do you have any proposal that you're submitting
Yeah.
with the for government?
That's what I said earlier. There's an advocacy for training,
Yeah.
and that we intend to do with the help of the whole community, not
Okay.
only the printers, but also the suppliers, government, and the educational institution. So we will put our heads together, and we should organize the printing school with a proper curriculum, and then we will mill out every year new talents and skills.
Okay.
And of course, when we talk about digital printing,
Yeah.
it's really more user-friendly than the traditional offset printing, wherein you have to tinker with the machines mostly on the mechanical, the electrical aspects of it.
Okay.
While on the digital printing, you should have a minimal knowledge of using computers and probably some graphic arts skills.
Okay.
And then I think you are ready to handle one of the machines
Right.
and be given a certain assignment
Right,
to do.
right. I'd like to ask Ronnie. Ronnie, you said that you're doing non-digital. How do you see your company moving towards digital? You're familiar with digital technology already,
Yes.
all right? And the companies that are similarly situated as you are, that they're still using traditional printing, what are your plans with this type of opportunities that come your industry sector?
So the digital should be what do you call this probably go side by side with the offset. So
Okay.
it can integrate and help.
Okay. You're saying it can
Yes.
be done?
Yes. The move is not actually the elimination of one workflow solution, but the integration of both. In HP,
Okay.
HP has gone along stride of research in order to, because in quality, offset is really, in terms of color,
Yeah.
offset really has this good quality, we call it the wider color gamut. But what HP is doing is it's trying to match or even exceed the quality of what is being printed in offset, so that it would have a merger of the workflow. No, something that you have print in a short run or medium runs for digital, later on it has, when you need to migrate it to a structure, a more mass produced, then the workflow will be more seamless.
Okay.
So there's actually an emergence of both. The reason why of course, Sir Ronnie is somehow in packaging.
Yeah.
Another pull factor that is happening right now is the brand attention. There are more brands in the market. Like what I've said, the more the Philippines will be global, the more we will be catering to more global brands. Right now, there are about 3,200 global brands trying to get the attention of our eyeballs.
Only?
And that's a lot.
3,000?
That's a lot. That's a lot of hits.
What kind of brand? International
We're
brands?
talking of international
Consumer brands.
Consumer brands. So
Okay.
these brands are
These are the
daily,
big brands. These are
and
the-
they're hitting on you on a daily basis.
Yeah.
So right now, the really need, especially for the packaging industry, is somehow to merge the idea that you have a packaging, that you have a solution, in order to create a brand pool. So that is what digital is offering. And one of the first ones who tried that is Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola in Australia did a campaign, changed their can bottles, not just put Coke, but several 500 or 1,000 names of Australians. And the pull factor was really great because people were started lining up, buying this Coke in cans and finding their names, finding the names of their relatives. So it's a brand pull. Now that brand pull is what is also causing the change. The need for digital is emerging because of the need for test markets, short runs, and you need to go to this customization. So that is the pull of the digital. At some point, there will be a migration to a certain point to offset or flexo.
Okay.
But it's really the merger of the two,
Okay.
of several printing
Right,
solutions.
right. That's very interesting. When you talk about the future trend as far as the printing industry and the association is concerned, and I'd like to get back on our last segment here on what lessons have we learned in the past 50 years and what do we see in the next 50 years. But we have to pause for a break. You're tuning in here on the Business Portal for this segment on Trends Analysis. Your host, Toti Casino. And our topic for this episode is the 50 years in the printing industry. And our guests for this episode are none other than the officers of the Printing Industry Association of the Philippines, its president, Mr. Ronnie Sy, and with him is Mr. Ric Tansipek, and with them is the guest exhibitor from HP Norde, none other than Rico Delos Santos. He's the marketing manager. Do stay tuned for the concluding portion.